Hi, I'm Julio.
And I'm the AI that will make this story even more unpredictable.
Here's how it works. I write the first 4 chapters full of mystery, clues, and twists.
And then I step in to write the final chapter.
But here's the challenge. Can you guess the ending the AI will create before it's revealed?
I doubt you can. My endings always have a hidden surprise.
So, join us. Hit the like button if you enjoy the idea and share in the comments how you think this story should end. Will your theory beat the AI's twist?
The police cruiser's lights paint my bedroom walls in alternating red and blue. I press my face against the cold window glass, watching Officer Reeves talk to Mrs. Keller on her front lawn. Her hands keep rising and falling like damaged birds. Jason's been missing for 27 hours now. I flip open my notebook, adding this moment to my growing collection of wrongness. The same wrongness that's been crawling under my skin since I found Jason's varsity jacket at the edge of Miller's Lake last night. My phone buzzes. A group text from Amber. They're saying Jason just ran away. Parents fighting again. No big deal. No big deal. The words make my stomach tighten. I grab my flashlight and slip Jason's phone, the one I pocketed before anyone else arrived at the lake, from beneath my mattress. 3 text messages deleted just before midnight on Friday. The unsent draft that just says, "Don't." The call log wiped clean. Dad's voice floats up from the garage. "Ellie, you coming down for dinner?" "Later," I shout back, sliding the evidence under my pillow. Dad wouldn't understand. Nobody does. Not since I became Elliot Parker's weird daughter who sees patterns where there are none. I grab my jacket and climb out the window. The autumn air bites at my cheeks as I drop to the ground. The path to the lake is muscle memory by now. Twigs snap under my sneakers as darkness settles over Pinewood. The lakeshore is empty tonight, yellow police tape fluttering around the spot where Jason's jacket was found. I duck under it, sweeping my flashlight across the mud. The tire tracks I noticed yesterday are still there. Wide, deep treads cutting toward the water's edge. Not from Jason's Mustang, not from any teenager's car. Something reflects the light 10 feet away. I crouch down, fingers sinking into cold mud as I reach for it. A silver cufflink with engraved initials. Principal Miller's first name is Andrew. A branch cracks behind me. I spin around, heart hammering against my ribs.
You shouldn't be here, Ellie. It's Zach Turner, Jason's best friend since kindergarten. His face is half hidden in shadow, hands stuffed deep in his pockets. Neither should you, I say, closing my fist around the cufflink. What do you know, Zach? His eyes dart toward the trees, then back to me. Nothing. And if you're smart, neither do you. Jason wouldn't just leave, I press. Something happened after the bonfire. Zach steps closer. Drop it, Ellie, for your own good. His voice trembles slightly. Some people in this town, they don't like questions. What people? My throat tightens. What did you see? His phone buzzes. He glances at it, face draining of color. I have to go. He turns to leave, then pauses. The lake has secrets, Ellie. Always has. Ask your dad about 97. Before I can respond, headlights sweep across the trees. A black SUV with tinted windows rolls slowly down the access road. "Run," Zach whispers, "now." I don't need to be told twice. My lungs burn as I crash through the underbrush, branches whipping against my face. The SUV's headlights sweep the trees behind me, painting elongated shadows that seem to reach for my ankles. I cut sharply left into the dense pines where no vehicle can follow. Only when the engine sound fades do I slow down, chest heaving. The cufflink digs into my palm where I've been clutching it. Principal Miller's initials. Why would his cufflink be at the lake where Jason disappeared? The walk home takes twice as long through the woods. Dad's truck is gone when I finally reach our driveway. Late night emergency repair, probably. I slip in through the back door, freezing when I see mud tracked across our kitchen floor. Not mine. Someone's been here.
I grab a knife from the drawer and move through the house room by room, heart in my throat. Nothing seems disturbed until I reach my bedroom. The window I climbed out of is still open, curtains billowing gently. My mattress has been shifted slightly. The spot where I hid Jason's phone is empty.
Looking for this? I whirl around. Sheriff Dawson stands in my doorway, Jason's phone dangling from his fingers. His smile doesn't reach his eyes. Breaking and entering is a crime, I say, gripping the knife tighter behind my back. So is theft of evidence. He steps into my room, boots leaving mud prints on my carpet. Your father know you're stealing phones from crime scenes, Ellie? Crime scene, so you admit something happened to Jason. Dawson's smile falters. Kids make impulsive decisions, especially when they're failing classes and fighting with their parents. He wasn't failing anything. No? Dawson pulls a folded paper from his pocket. His midterm report tells a different story. F in chemistry, D in calculus. Scholarship chances going up in smoke. That can't be right. Jason tutored me in chem last semester. He was getting A's, I insist. Grades slip, Ellie. People aren't always what they seem. He tosses the phone onto my bed. Battery's dead anyway. Nothing useful on it. He's lying. I saw the deleted texts, the unsent message. Now, he continues, I'd appreciate if you'd tell me why Zach Turner called the station asking for me 5 minutes before I found you trespassing at a restricted area. My stomach drops. I don't know. No? Dawson steps closer. He smells like cigarettes and coffee. Funny, because dispatch said he sounded terrified, mentioned your name specifically. A car pulls into the driveway. Dad's truck. Relief floods through me. We'll continue this conversation later. Dawson heads for the door, then turns back. Your dad ever tell you about his high school days? He and Andrew Miller used to be quite close. Before I can respond, Dad's voice calls from downstairs. Ellie, why's the sheriff's car outside? Dawson gives me one last look before descending the stairs. I hear their muffled voices, then Dad's laugh. Too loud, too forced. When the front door finally closes, I rush downstairs. Dad stands in the kitchen, his face unnaturally pale. Sheriff says you've been poking around about Jason Keller. Dad, something's wrong. Jason wouldn't just leave. And I found. Enough. His voice cracks like a whip. I step back, shocked. Dad never yells. Let the police handle it. But, no buts. He runs a hand through his thinning hair. This town, there are things you don't understand. Like what happened in '97. His eyes widen. The coffee mug slips from his hand, shattering on the floor. Where did you hear about that? Zach mentioned it, at the lake. Dad grabs my shoulders, fingers digging in painfully. Stay away from the lake. Stay away from Zach. And for God's sake, stop asking questions about '97. Why? What happened? He lets go, suddenly looking 10 years older. Nothing. A teenager went missing. They never found him. Just like Jason? No. Dad turns away, voice barely audible. Not like Jason at all. I follow him to the garage where he busies himself with a carburetor. Dad, please, I need to know. No, he doesn't look up. Some things are better left buried. I retreat to my room, locking the door behind me. Jason's phone sits on my bed where Dawson left it. The battery isn't dead. The screen lights up when I press the power button. Another lie. I scroll through his recent calls. Nothing unusual until I check his voicemail. One saved message from 3 weeks ago, from a number with no name. I press play. Jason, a woman's voice, trembling. They know what you found. Don't trust Miller. Don't trust anyone in uniform. If you... The message cuts off abruptly. My notebook lies open on my desk. I add this new piece to my collection of wrongness, trying to make the fragments connect. Jason disappearing, Principal Miller's cufflink, Dad and the incident in '97, the mysterious woman's warning.
My phone chimes with a text from an unknown number. Meet me, tomorrow, 10 a.m., Old Quarry Bridge. Come alone. Z for Zach. My pulse quickens. Finally, some answers. Another text arrives immediately after. Delete this. I do. Then pull out my town map, marking the locations. School, lake, quarry bridge. As I connect the dots with a red pen, a familiar pattern emerges. The same one that appears in my recurring nightmare. The same one I've been drawing unconsciously since I was 7 years old. A triangle, with our house at its center. My phone chimes again, this time from Amber. OMG, Ellie, have you seen this? She sent a blurry photo of what looks like a crime scene. Yellow tape, several officers, a dark shape on the ground. They found Jason's backpack, floating in Miller's Lake, covered in blood. Morning fog clings to the abandoned quarry like a shroud. The old iron bridge creaks under my feet as I cross over the 100-foot drop to the water below. No sign of Zach yet. I check my watch. 10:08 a.m. Last night's discovery of Jason's bloody backpack dominates my phone's notifications. 27 messages in the school group chat speculate wildly. Attacked by a bear? Drug deal gone wrong? Suicide? I silence my phone, remembering Mom's voice from years ago. Trust your instincts, Ellie. When everyone rushes one way, look the other. The memory stings. She left when I was 10. Another Pinewood mystery never explained. You came alone. Zach's voice startles me. He emerges from the trees on the far side, shoulders hunched against the cold. Dark circles shadow his eyes. Like you asked. I step toward him. What happened to Jason? He glances nervously over his shoulder. Not sure we have much time. They found my number in his call log. Who's they? The founders. He spits the words like venom. The families that run this town. Miller, Dawson, Kincaid, a few others. My notebook entries flash through my mind. The same last names appearing repeatedly whenever something odd happened in Pinewood. Sheriff Dawson, Principal Miller, Mayor Kincaid. What does this have to do with Jason? Zach's hands tremble as he pulls out a USB drive. 3 weeks ago, we were partying at the lake. Jason dropped his phone in the water. When we fished it out, it was dead. He borrowed my laptop to check if his cloud backup worked, and he found something. Zach swallows hard. A folder that wasn't his. Someone else's files had synced to his account by mistake. Photos, documents, from Principal Miller's phone. Ice slides down my spine. What was in them? Ledgers, financial records, photos of the lake from the 90s, and a list of names. One was circled in red. Marcus Finley. The name slams into me like a physical blow. Dad's best friend from high school. The man in the faded photograph Dad keeps hidden in his workbench drawer. Finley went missing in '97, I whisper. Zach nods. Jason was obsessed with figuring it out. Said it was connected to the water levels in Miller's Lake. Something about an old dam and property lines. A memory surfaces. Dad arguing with Mayor Kincaid last summer about the new development on the lake's north shore. That land was never meant to be built on, Richard. You, of all people, should remember why. What's on the USB? I ask. Everything, Jason backed up. I haven't looked at it. Too scared. He holds it out. Take it. I'm leaving town tonight. My parents think I'm going to stay with my aunt in Madison. You can't just run. Watch me. His eyes dart to the quarry road. Jason found something they killed for once. I'm not sticking around to be next. The sound of an approaching engine cuts through the fog. Zach pales. Go, he hisses, pushing the USB into my hand. Take the trail through the back. Don't let them see you. I slip into the trees as a familiar black SUV appears on the quarry access road. Through the branches, I glimpse a man in the sheriff's uniform stepping out. Not Dawson. Deputy Kincaid, the mayor's son. Staying low, I follow the overgrown trail down the steep hillside. My phone buzzes in my pocket. Dad, calling for the third time this morning. I silence it again.
The USB drive burns in my pocket as I cut through the woods toward the public library. It's Saturday, meaning Mrs. Fenton will be the only one working, half-blind, perpetually absorbed in her romance novels. Perfect. The computer lab is empty when I arrive. I plug in the drive, heart hammering as files populate the screen. Dozens of PDFs, spreadsheets, and images organized with Jason's meticulous labeling system. A folder named Lake Levels contains historical surveys of Miller's Lake. Another labeled Property holds land deeds and permits. I open a spreadsheet titled Payments and my breath catches. 7-figure transactions flowing through offshore accounts, all connected to something called Project Watershed. One name appears repeatedly as an authorized signatory, Andrew Miller. I click on a folder marked 97 Incident and a series of photographs appears. The lake at night, a group of men carrying something heavy wrapped in tarp, a section of disturbed earth deep in the woods, and a close-up of a silver signet ring on a man's hand. The same ring I've seen Sheriff Dawson wearing every day of my life. The library door chimes. Through the glass partition, I see Principal Miller enter, scanning the room slowly. His eyes lock on me through the glass. I yank the USB out and shove it into my shoe as he approaches. His usual warm smile seems plastered on, like a mask that doesn't quite fit. "Ellie, unusual to see you studying on a Saturday after what happened." He leans against the computer desk. "Terrible business with Jason's backpack." "Just researching a history project," I lie. "Local history?" His smile doesn't waver, but his eyes harden. "Fascinating subject. Your father was quite the history enthusiast in his youth, especially concerning water rights and the old dam project." My throat tightens. I didn't know that. "Oh yes, he and Marcus Finley were quite invested in the town's development plans, before Marcus's unfortunate departure." The way he says it makes my skin crawl. "I should get home," I mutter, gathering my things. "Dad's expecting me." Miller's hand closes around my wrist. "Your father called the school this morning, quite concerned. Said you'd gone missing." His grip tightens. "Let me drive you home." Before I can answer, Mrs. Fenton appears with a stack of returned books. "Principal Miller! What a surprise!" His hand falls away. I seize the moment, slipping past him toward the exit. "Thanks, but I've got my bike. See you Monday, Principal Miller." Outside, I pedal faster than I ever have, taking back roads towards home. The USB feels like a live grenade in my shoe. I need somewhere safe to examine the rest of the files, somewhere no one would think to look. My phone buzzes with a text from Dad. "Where are you? Come home now." Then another from an unknown number. "You're asking dangerous questions, Ellie Parker. The lake keeps its secrets. So should you." I veer off the main road onto a dirt path that leads to the abandoned train depot on the edge of town. No one comes here except teenagers looking to drink or make out. The platform is deserted today. Inside the crumbling ticket office, I find a dusty outlet that still works. Legacy of a half-completed renovation project, abandoned years ago. I plug in my laptop and the USB, downloading the files as quickly as possible. A document catches my eye. Watershed Project Phase 2 Finalization Schedule. I open it, skimming rapidly. Technical language about water tables and aquifer access, property acquisitions, shell companies. The final page has a map with red X marks at specific locations around the lake. One is directly behind my house. Another is at the spot where Jason's jacket was found. The third is at the old quarry bridge where I just met Zach. My phone chimes with a breaking news alert from the Pinewood Gazette. Developing. Car belonging to missing teen Zachary Turner discovered abandoned at county line. Signs of struggle reported. The walls seem to close in around me.
I copy the files to my laptop and slip the USB drive into my sock. Something moves outside the window, a flash of khaki uniform. Deputies, 2 of them, working their way through the old rail yard, looking for someone, looking for me. My phone screen lights up with an incoming call. Dad, I answer in a whisper. Ellie, thank God. His voice sounds strange, strained. Where are you? Dad, I know about 97, about Marcus Finley. I know what Jason found. Silence stretches for 3 heartbeats. When Dad speaks again, his voice is different, harder. Stay where you are. I'm coming to get you. How do you know where I am? The line goes quiet except for his breathing. Dad? They're tracking your phone, Ellie. The resignation in his voice chills me to the bone. They always have been. I power off my phone, yanking out the battery for good measure. Through the grimy depot window, I watch the deputies split up, one heading toward the platform while the other circles behind the building. My laptop screen glows with the damning evidence. Project Watershed's true purpose laid bare in financial ledgers and land surveys. Not just a water management initiative, as the town was told. A massive aquifer discovered beneath Pinewood, worth billions to the right buyers. The bootsteps grow closer. I shut the laptop, gathering everything into my backpack. There's a maintenance tunnel beneath the old depot, a remnant from when this place was a proper station. I pry up the loose floorboard in the corner, revealing the rusted ladder descending into darkness. The deputy's radio crackles outside the door. Any sign of the Parker girl? Negative. Building appears empty. Keep searching. Sheriff wants her brought in immediately. I lower myself into the tunnel, sliding the floorboard back into place above me. The darkness is absolute. I feel my way forward, hands tracing the damp concrete walls. My mind races through what I've learned. Jason discovered the Watershed Project files, confronted someone, disappeared. Zach knew too much. Now he's gone too. And Dad, what side is he really on? After what feels like hours, the tunnel slopes upward. A maintenance hatch overhead reveals I'm near the edge of town, close to the highway. Freedom is just yards away. But where would I go? Who could I trust? The answer comes with cruel simplicity. No one. A truck rumbles to a stop nearby. I freeze, holding my breath. Ellie? A whisper from above. Ellie, it's me, Miss Harmon, my chemistry teacher. The last person I'd expect. Cautiously, I push open the hatch. She kneels beside it, face tight with worry. Thank God. Get in my truck, quickly. How did you... No time. They've set up checkpoints on all roads out of town. I climb into her pickup, ducking below the dashboard as she pulls away. Only when we're on the back road toward the county line do I sit up. You know about Project Watershed, I say, not a question. Miss Harmon nods grimly. My real name is Diana Finley. Marcus was my brother. The revelation hits like a physical blow. But you've been teaching here for 6 years. Took a while to establish my cover. Falsified records, new identity. Her knuckles whiten on the steering wheel. I came here to find out what happened to Marcus. Found something much bigger instead. The aquifer. She glances at me, surprised. You've been busy. Jason found Miller's files. Downloaded everything before they got to him. Smart kid. Too smart. She checks the rearview mirror nervously. The founders discovered the aquifer back in '97. My brother was the county environmental engineer. He realized what they were planning. Selling water rights to corporations, draining the aquifer for profit. It would eventually collapse the entire region's ecosystem. So they killed him and buried him somewhere near the lake, just like they'll do to Jason and Zach if they haven't already. She takes a sharp turn onto a logging road. And you, if they catch you. What about my dad? Is he one of them? Pain flashes across her face. It's complicated. He and Marcus were friends. Your father was supposed to help him expose the founders, but when Marcus disappeared, Dad backed down.
I finish, a cold certainty settling in my stomach. Worse, he made a deal. His silence for your safety. The trees thin as we approach a small cabin nestled in the woods. Miss Harmon, Diana cuts the engine. We need to move the evidence somewhere safe. Then contact the State Environmental Agency and FBI. This goes beyond local jurisdiction. Inside the cabin, I connect my laptop to her satellite internet. The files upload painfully slowly to a secure server Diana has prepared. There's something else, I say, opening the folder titled Geological Surveys. Look at these depth measurements from the lake. Diana studies the screen, frowning. These can't be right. The deepest part of Miller's Lake is maybe 30 feet, according to public records. But Jason found these private surveys. I point to the numbers. Parts of it are over 100 feet deep. And look at the date. October 1997. Her voice falls to a whisper. Right after Marcus disappeared. They expanded the lake, I say, created a deeper section where it connects to the quarry. Understanding dawns in her eyes. My God, they flooded the quarry. That's where... She doesn't finish the sentence, doesn't need to. The dam project your father opposed, she continues, piecing it together. It wasn't just about controlling water levels. It was about covering evidence. My phone, still powered off, battery removed. I reassemble it, powering up just long enough to check the map I marked earlier. The triangle connecting the key locations. One point at the lake where Jason's jacket was found. Another at the quarry bridge where Zach vanished. And the third behind my house, where the old dam control station used to stand. We need to go back, I say suddenly. Back? Are you insane? The entire sheriff's department is looking for you. There's a control room, underground, behind my house. Dad keeps it padlocked, never let me near it. The pieces click together with terrible clarity. That's where the original plans would be, proof of what they did. Diana hesitates. It's too dangerous. We should wait for the uploads to finish then. A sharp crack splits the air. The laptop screen shatters, sparks flying as a bullet tears through it. Down, Diana shoves me to the floor as another shot punches through the cabin wall. We crawl toward the back door. Outside, engines roar to life. Multiple vehicles surrounding the cabin. There's a storm cellar, Diana hisses. Through the pantry, it leads to a drainage pipe. You can follow it to the river. What about you? Her smile is grim as she pulls a revolver from under the sofa. I'll buy you time. No, listen to me. She grips my shoulders. Find the control room. The evidence we need is there. It's the only way to end this. For Marcus, for Jason, for everyone they've silenced. Sheriff Dawson's voice booms through a megaphone outside. Diana Finley, we know you're harboring Ellie Parker. Come out with your hands up. How did they find us so quickly? Diana's eyes narrow. They're not tracking your phone, Ellie. They're tracking you. What? She taps the back of my neck. Feel that? The small bump under your skin. It's been there since you were a child. Your father agreed to it as part of his deal. Horror washes over me. A lifetime of being watched, monitored. A prisoner who never knew the bars existed. Go. Diana pushes me toward the pantry. I'll create a diversion. The storm cellar is pitch black. I fumble down the steps as gunfire erupts above me. The drainage pipe is narrow, barely wide enough for me to crawl through. Cold water soaks through my jeans as I push forward. After what feels like miles, the pipe opens into a culvert. The river rushes just feet away. I splash toward it, planning to let the current carry me downstream. Headlights appear on the bridge above. Deputies scanning the riverbank. I freeze, pressed against the concrete culvert wall. A hand clamps over my mouth from behind. Don't scream, a familiar voice whispers. It's me, Dad. I twist free, backing away. How did you find me? He looks haggard, eyes red-rimmed.
I've always known where you are, Ellie. I'm so sorry. You let them put a tracker in me? Your own daughter? Pain contorts his face. I had no choice after what happened to Marcus. You were supposed to help him. Instead, you joined them. I protected you, he roars, then immediately lowers his voice. You think they would have let you live otherwise? You, the daughter of Marcus Finley's closest ally? The world tilts beneath me. What are you saying? Marcus and I were going to expose everything. The aquifer, the bribes, all of it. He swallows hard. The night before we planned to go public, they came for him. I was supposed to be there too. But you weren't. I was with your mother at the hospital. You were sick, pneumonia. By the time I got Marcus's call, his voice breaks. It was too late. Above us, flashlight beams sweep the riverbank. They gave me a choice, Dad continues. Silence and cooperation in exchange for our lives. They would spare you and your mother. But Mom left. She couldn't live with what I'd done, what I'd become. He reaches for me, stops when I flinch away. Everything was for you, Ellie. Every compromise, every lie. And Jason, Zach, were they acceptable sacrifices too? He has no answer for that. We need to get to the control room, I say. The original dam plans prove everything. Dad shakes his head. There's nothing there. I checked years ago. They sanitized everything. Then why keep it locked? Why never let me near it? Something shifts in his expression. Because of what's carved into the wall. Names, dates, Marcus's last message, insurance in case he disappeared. Hope flares within me. We need to get there, now. Impossible. They're watching the house. The storm drain system. Does it connect? It might. He hesitates. But your tracker.
They'll know exactly where you are. I take his Swiss Army knife, pressing it to the back of my neck. Then cut it out. His face pales. Ellie, I can't. Either you do it or I will. My hand is steady, voice steadier. Right here, right now. Dad takes the knife, fingers trembling. Turn around. The pain is sharp, blinding. I bite down on my sleeve to keep from screaming. Warm blood trickles down my spine. Got it. Dad holds up a bloody microchip the size of a grain of rice. He drops it in the rushing water, where the current immediately sweeps it away. For the first time in my life, I am truly invisible. We wade upstream through the drainage system, eventually emerging in the woods a half-mile from our house. The neighborhood is crawling with deputies and black SUVs. This way. Dad leads me through backyards and side streets, avoiding the search patrols. The utility shed behind our garage looks like any other, rusted metal, padlocked door. Dad retrieves the key from inside a fake rock. After you disappeared this morning, they searched the house, he whispers. I don't think they found this. They don't know that I know. The lock clicks open. Inside, beneath a false floor, a narrow staircase descends into darkness. The control room is small, dusty with disuse. Ancient monitors and control panels line one wall. Dad moves directly to the back corner, running his fingers along the concrete. Here, he says, brushing away years of dust. Carved into the wall, a list of names, dates, account numbers, and at the bottom, in desperate, jagged letters, Elliot knows everything. Watershed is murder. Elliot? I ask. Your mother's maiden name. You were named after her family. Dad traces the carving with his fingertips. This is Marcus's handwriting, his final message. Light spills down the staircase. A shadow stretches across the floor. Well, isn't this touching? Sheriff Dawson stands at the entrance, gun drawn. Father and daughter reuniting at last. Dad pushes me behind him. Jim, please. She's just a kid who knows too much, just like her friend Jason. Dawson steps into the room. Just like you once did, Elliot. You won't get away with this, I say. Diana Finley contacted the FBI. They know everything. Dawson laughs. Diana Finley is dead, Ellie. Just like her brother. Just like your friends. And soon, just like you both. He raises his gun. Dad lunges forward. A deafening bang echoes off the concrete walls. I scream as he crumples to the ground, blood blooming across his chest. Dawson steps over him, advancing toward me. Nothing personal, kid. Just protecting our town's future. My back hits the control panel. Something gives way beneath me. An ancient lever, rusted in place for decades. A deep, mechanical groan reverberates through the room. The ground begins to shake. Dawson's eyes go wide with panic. What did you do? The old controls for the dam. Still connected. Still functioning. Water alarm sirens wail in the distance as the floor beneath us trembles violently. You've killed us all, Dawson whispers. The wall behind him cracks. A thin stream of water sprays through, quickly widening. Pinewood's buried secrets are finally coming to the surface, and they're bringing the whole town down with them.
Water rushes through the widening crack behind Dawson, turning from a trickle to a torrent in seconds. The ancient dam system groans like a dying beast. 27 years of pressure finally released. Dad gasps on the floor, blood pooling beneath him. His eyes find mine. The lever, he whispers, you found it. Dawson backs against the flooding wall, gun still trained on me. You stupid girl! That water feeds into the town's main system. You'll flood half of Pinewood. Good. The word comes out harder than I expect. Let it wash away every lie you've built. The water reaches Dawson's ankles now. He wades toward the stairs, but something makes him stop. A sound from above. Footsteps. Voices. FBI! Building is surrounded. Relief floods through me. Diana got her message through before they killed her. Or maybe she's not dead at all. Dawson's face contorts with rage. Doesn't matter. You're both drowned down here with your precious evidence. He fires at the main water pipe running along the ceiling. The bullet punches through rusted metal, sending a cascade of water directly onto the control panels. Sparks fly as decades-old electrical systems short out. Dad! I splash toward him as the water rises to my knees. His chest barely moves. Listen, he gasps. The safe, behind the false panel. Everything about your mother, about why she really left. Don't talk. Save your strength. He grabs my wrist. She didn't leave because of Marcus. She left because of you. The water reaches my waist. Dawson fights the current, trying to reach the stairs. Above us, heavy boots pound across the floor. What do you mean? Dad's lips are turning blue. Your mother, she was pregnant again. The founders found out, said one Parker child was enough insurance. They made her choose. The revelation hits me like the icy water. Choose what? You or the baby? His voice barely carries over the rushing water. She chose you. Then left so she'd never have to make that choice again. Understanding crashes over me.
Mom didn't abandon us. She sacrificed everything to keep me alive, then removed herself from the equation entirely. Another casualty of the founder's control. The water reaches the first step. Dawson struggles against the current, gun lost in the torrent. Above us, someone shouts through a megaphone. Jim Dawson, this is Agent Sarah Martinez, FBI. Come up with your hands visible. Dawson looks back at us, floating now, clinging to the stair railing. You think this ends it? Miller, Kincaid, the others. They'll disappear this whole mess. New identities, offshore accounts. They've been planning for this possibility for years. Not anymore. I hold up a waterproof USB drive I grabbed from Dad's workbench. Jason wasn't the only one backing up files. Dad's been documenting everything for 27 years. Insurance, in case you ever came for us. Dad manages a weak smile. Told you Elliot knows everything. The water carries us upward as the room fills completely. I hook my arm under Dad's shoulders, keeping his head above the surface. Dawson reaches the top step just as FBI agents storm down. "Suspect in custody," one shouts. Agent Martinez appears at the entrance, her eyes widening at the flood. "Medical, now!" Paramedics wade down as the water begins to recede, draining through the old storm systems. They pull Dad onto a stretcher, checking vitals. He's lost a lot of blood, but the pulse is steady. "The evidence," I gasp to Martinez, pressing the USB into her hands. "Everything's on there. The aquifer, the murders, all of it." She helps me up the stairs. Outside, the pre-dawn darkness is shattered by flashing lights. FBI vehicles, ambulances, news vans already arriving. Word travels fast in small towns. "Diana Finley?" I ask. "Alive, wounded, but she'll make it." Her distress signal reached our field office in Madison. Martinez watches the paramedics load Dad into an ambulance. "She told us about your father's situation, the impossible choice he made." Through the chaos, I spot familiar faces in handcuffs. Principal Miller being led to a federal vehicle. Deputy Kincaid fighting the agents restraining him. But it's the figure standing alone by the garage that stops me cold. Mayor Kincaid Sr., just standing there, watching his life's work crumble. He meets my eyes across the yard and nods once, almost respectfully. "Richard Kincaid won't run," Martinez says, following my gaze. "Men like him, they think they're too important to hide. They'll lawyer up and claim they were protecting the town's economic interests. Will it work?" She holds up the USB drive. "Not with this. Financial crimes, conspiracy, murder. We'll untangle every thread." A new commotion erupts near the street. Rescue vehicles racing toward Miller's Lake. In the distance, emergency sirens wail across Pinewood. "The dam failure," Martinez explains. "Water levels dropping fast. They're evacuating the lakeside developments." "And the bodies?" "If they're down there, we'll find them. The lake's draining into the quarry system. Within hours, we'll see the bottom for the first time since 1997. I ride in the ambulance with Dad, holding his hand as we race toward the county hospital. His eyes flutter open once during the trip. "Jason?" he whispers. My throat tightens. We'll find him. 3 hours later, I sit in the hospital waiting room, wrapped in a blanket that smells like disinfectant. Agent Martinez approaches with coffee and a grim expression. "We found them," she says simply. 3 bodies in the deepest part of the old quarry. Preliminary identification confirms Marcus Finley. The other 2, she pauses, Jason Keller and Zachary Turner. The coffee cup slips from my hands, shattering on the linoleum. I knew, but hearing it makes it real. Final. "There's something else." Martinez sits beside me. "We found a 4th body, much older. From the dental records, we believe it's Samuel Morrison. Disappeared in 1983. "How many?" I ask, voice barely audible. "We don't know yet." "The quarry's deep. This conspiracy goes back decades, Ellie. Generations of the founders eliminating threats." Through the waiting room windows, dawn breaks over Pinewood. In the distance, Miller's Lake continues draining, revealing secrets the town buried long ago. News helicopters circle overhead like vultures. What happens now? Trials, lots of them. You'll need to testify, but with your father's documentation and Diana's evidence, the cases are solid. Martinez stands. "There's a victim services counselor who'd like to speak with you, and Diana wants to see you when you're ready." I find Diana 3 rooms down, her left arm in a sling, but otherwise alert. She looks different without the careful disguise of Ms. Harmon, the chemistry teacher. More like Marcus in the old photos Dad kept hidden. "I'm sorry about Jason and Zach," she says immediately. "If I'd moved faster. You saved everyone else." I sit in the visitor's chair, suddenly exhausted. How many more would have disappeared if this continued? Too many. She stares out the window at the drained lake. You know what the worst part is? The aquifer was real. Properly managed, it could have provided sustainable water for the region for generations. Instead, they planned to sell it to the highest bidder and drain it dry within a decade. For money, for power. Money was just the tool. She turns back to me. Your father did the right thing in the end, documenting everything, waiting for the right moment. He knew someday someone would stumble on to the truth again, like Jason did, like you did. You could have run when things got dangerous. Instead, you kept digging. Her smile is sad but proud. Marcus would have liked you. That afternoon, I return home to a different Pinewood. News trucks line every street. Federal investigators comb through the houses of arrested conspirators. The lake, now mostly drained, reveals a moonscape of mud and hidden debris. And bodies. The local news won't say how many, but I count 11 body bags being loaded into coroner vans from my bedroom window. Dad comes home after a week in the hospital, pale but walking. The bullet missed his lung by inches. He moves slowly through the house, touching familiar objects like he's seeing them for the first time. The safe you mentioned, I say that evening, behind the false panel. He leads me to his workshop, pulling away a section of pegboard to reveal a small wall safe. Inside, dozens of photographs, letters, documents. Your mother, he says, handing me a picture I've never seen. Mom, very pregnant, standing beside a for sale sign. This was taken the day before Marcus disappeared. She was 6 months along. In the photo, Mom looks terrified. Her hands rest protectively over her belly, but her eyes scan the background like she's watching for threats. They told her the baby wouldn't be safe. Too many variables, too many people to control. Dad's voice cracks. Said if she stayed, they'd make sure something happened during delivery, make it look natural. I study the other photos. Mom packing hastily, a ultrasound image labeled Baby Parker, a note in her handwriting. I'll always love you both. This is the only way to keep everyone safe. She's been sending money, Dad admits, for years. Anonymous cashier's checks to pay for your school supplies, clothes, never forgot your birthday. Where is she? Portland, remarried, has a daughter now. He hands me an envelope, my name written in Mom's familiar script. She wrote this when you turned 18, said to give it to you when you were ready to understand. My hands shake as I open it. The letter is short, written in Mom's careful handwriting. Ellie, if you're reading this, then the truth finally came out. I'm so proud of the woman you've become. I know leaving was the hardest thing I could do to you, but it was the only way to keep you alive. Your father is a hero, even if he doesn't believe it. He sacrificed everything to protect you. Someday, when this is all over, I hope you'll let me try to be your mother again. All my love, Mom. The trials take 2 years. One by one, the founders fall. Principal Miller gets life without parole for murder and conspiracy. Sheriff Dawson dies of a heart attack in county lockup before his trial begins. Mayor Kincaid negotiates a plea deal, 40 years in federal prison. 7 more conspirators are convicted on lesser charges. The financial web they built stretches across 3 states and involves 2 major corporations. The FBI recovers nearly $500 million in stolen environmental funds. I testify at every trial. At first, it's terrifying, standing in front of packed courtrooms while defense lawyers try to discredit everything I say. But each time gets easier. By the final trial, I feel strong enough to look Mayor Kincaid in the eye as I describe finding his son's cufflink at the crime scene. Diana moves back to Pinewood permanently, taking a job with the State Environmental Agency. She helps design the new water management system for the restored lake. The aquifer becomes a protected natural resource managed by a federal trust. Marcus would have loved this, she tells me one afternoon, as we watch construction crews installing the new monitoring station. Sustainable development instead of exploitation. The lake fills again over 6 months, cleaner than it's been in decades. A memorial park is built on the North Shore, honoring the victims of the watershed conspiracy. Jason's and Zach's names are carved in black granite, along with Marcus's and the 8 others whose bodies were recovered. On my 19th birthday, Dad drives me to the Portland airport. Mom waits at the security checkpoint, older than I remember, but with the same warm eyes. Beside her stands a girl about 10 years old with my chin and Mom's dark hair. "This is Emma," Mom says, voice trembling. "Your sister." Emma looks up at me with enormous curiosity. "Are you really the girl who stopped the bad men?" I kneel down to her level. I had a lot of help. We spend a week together, rebuilding something I thought was lost forever. Mom shows me photo albums she's kept all these years. Pictures of me at every school play, graduation, birthday. She never really left, just loved from a distance, waiting for the day it was safe to come home. But I have my own life now, a full scholarship to study environmental law at UW-Madison, an internship with the FBI's white-collar crime division. Diana has offered me a summer job investigating corporate environmental fraud. "You don't have to fix the whole world, you know," Dad tells me as we drive back to Pinewood from the airport. "Just the parts I can reach," I reply, watching the restored lake shimmer in the evening light. The town is different now, smaller but honest. New families have moved in to replace those who fled during the trials. The high school has a different principal, one who actually cares about education instead of covering up conspiracies. And sometimes, when I walk past Miller's Lake at sunset, I can almost hear Jason's voice in the wind over the water. Not haunting, just present. A reminder that truth has weight, even when buried under decades of lies. Especially then. The lake keeps new secrets now. Fish returning to cleaned waters. Children learning to swim where bodies once lay hidden. Life growing back stronger in the spaces where corruption used to fester. I start college in the fall, but I'll always come back to Pinewood. Someone needs to watch. Someone needs to remember. And if the darkness ever tries to return to my hometown, it'll find Ellie Parker waiting, with a notebook full of questions and the determination to see them answered, no matter how deep the water gets.